you Golden Eagles. You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm your Tuesday, Thursday show host, Skylar Angus Barker. We've got a great show coming up with some information about Letha Jackson's chat sparking restaurant success, and Kaylin Fox Thomas reporting on an ICE protest. Don't touch that dial because Dr. Gregory Wolynec will share some things that you don't want to miss. You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. In USM campus news, Lutie named Director of USM School of Psychology. The University of Southern Mississippi College of Education and Human Sciences announced that Dr. Melanie Lutie will be the director of the School of Psychology. Dr. Lutie provides this statement about the position, quote, "I am honored to serve as the new director of the School of Psychology. I am deeply appreciative of the strong leadership that has guided our school to this point, and I look forward to continuing to advance excellence in research, teaching, and service in our school, while fostering an environment where faculty, staff, and students can thrive." End quote. Congratulations, and we wish you endless success. Marine Education Center to host 2026 Hurricane Bowl Regional Ocean Sciences Competition. You've heard that right. The Marine Education Center is going to host the 2026 Hurricane Bowl on Saturday, February 21st, at the Marine Education Center, 101 Sweep A Drive, Ocean Springs. The competition will run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with volunteers participating from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Lucy Lindsay, project manager of the Marine Education Center, has this to say about the event. Quote, "The Hurricane Bowl is competitive, intense, and at times intimidating. And that's exactly what makes it so impactful. We see ambitious, driven students step up to the challenge, prepared to push themselves and test their understanding of ocean environmental science. Watching these students compete reminds us that they are the future of environmental stewardship. Through the Hurricane Bowl, they're building confidence, teamwork, and critical thinking skills that will stay with them long after the competition ends." End quote. In Hattiesburg news, Hattiesburg City Council seeks federal grants for rail safety traffic planning. Hattiesburg City leaders are continuing to work to address a long-standing problem that many drivers are familiar with: blocked train crossings. On Tuesday night, a Hattiesburg City Council meeting had councilmen approve applying for 3 grants aimed at improving rail safety and traffic flow across the city. Hattiesburg Mayor Toby Barker provided this statement on how these projects don't fully solve the issue. Quote, "When a train changes tracks between Norfolk, Southern, and Canadian National, you will often see it downtown pull on that rail line that's sort of in between, which means it can block Mobile Street, it can block Main Street, it can block Ronnie Street." End quote. In Mississippi news, Mississippi Senate kills school choice bill. Mississippi lawmakers killed a comprehensive school choice bill on Tuesday in a Senate Education Committee meeting that lasted less than 2 minutes. The committee rejected House Bill 2, a more than 500-page measure that included multiple school choice provisions. Bill proposes year-round daylight saving time in Mississippi. A bill was introduced during the 2026 Mississippi legislative session that, if passed, would make daylight saving time in Mississippi year-round. There are other states that have passed legislation to make DST permanent, such as Florida and California. If the bill passes, Mississippi would keep its clock set forward 1 hour all year long. So that means no switching back and forth. It would be permanent and would eliminate spring forward or fall back. In national news, after the Minneapolis shootings, Trump says his administration could use a softer touch on immigration. President Donald Trump had an interview with NBC News on Wednesday that he believes his administration could use a softer touch in its immigration enforcement operations after federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens last month in Minneapolis. President Trump provided this statement, quote, "I learned that maybe we could use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. We're dealing with really hard criminals. But look, I've called the people. I've called the governor. I've called the mayor, spoke to him, had great conversations with them, and then I see them ranting and raving out there, literally as though a call wasn't made," end quote. We'll be right back with sports and weather after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Now on for your sports. Southern Miss Athletics has some announcements. Southern Miss softball opens the season at home as it hosts the Black and Gold Challenge Tournament, with action beginning Friday and continuing through Sunday. The Golden Eagles will welcome teams to the Southern Miss softball complex for a full weekend of competition, kicking off the new season in front of their home crowd. Southern Miss returns home to face Kent State in the MAC SBC Challenge on Saturday at 2 p.m., bringing an exciting non-conference matchup to the Greenhouse. The Golden Eagles will look to protect their home court as they take on a strong Kent State squad in this interconference showdown. Join us for the Golden Eagles Hotline Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 12 p.m. live from Walk-On's Sports Bistro in Hattiesburg. Hosted by the voice of the Golden Eagles, John Cox, and featuring both head men's and women's basketball coaches, Jay Ladner and Missy Bilderback. The show offers fans exclusive insights into the Southern Miss men's and women's basketball program as the 2025 season gets underway. Enjoy great food, meet fellow Golden Eagle fans, and get your questions answered live on air. Whether you're gearing up for game day or just want an inside look at this team's preparation, the Golden Eagle Hotline is the place to be. Can't make it in person? Tune in on the Southern Miss Sports Network or stream it online to stay connected to the action. To keep up with all the Golden Eagle sports activities, head on over to southernmiss.com. Now on for your weather. It looks like today is going to be pretty sunny and chilly, with highs in the lower 50s and lows in the mid-30s. Friday looks to be a little bit warmer, with highs in the upper 60s and lows in the lower 40s. It looks like Saturday will be mostly sunny, with highs in the lower 60s and lows in the mid-30s. Sunday looks to be a little bit warmer, with highs in the lower 70s. Up next, we have Letha Jackson's chat sparking restaurant success. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. By the time Letha's Barbecue moved to Hattiesburg, it had become a destination spot for barbecue lovers around the world. She credits her love of people and the power of word-of-mouth advertising.
I don't think I got the best ribs in the world. I don't think so. But I do a good job of what I do. And I love my job. I love to cook. I love people. You know, that's what makes it. You got to love people. If you don't love people, you can't make it. And I have people from London, Paris, Africa, Australia, all over the world, Washington, California. That's all over the world, the people. And I don't advertise. It's just the word of mouth. Just like when you eat here, if you get changed easy, I hope you do. You would go tell somebody else. And, you know, just like that, it's just the word of mouth. It's just the word of mouth. Sometimes they have to wait 2 hours outside. We have a lot of people. I have people from Memphis. They'll come out here. The best ribs in Memphis. I said, well, you ain't at mine yet.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was our Mississippi Moments. Coming up, we've got a special guest that you don't want to miss.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in our community. To learn more or get involved, call 601-545-7141. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Dr. Gregory Wolynec. Hey, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks so much for having me, Skylar.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. So, first and foremost, for anyone who doesn't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm a professor within the School of Music here at the University of Southern Mississippi, and my title is the Director of Orchestral Activities, which is a mouthful, but really I'm in charge of the world-renowned USM Symphony Orchestra. An amazing collection of talent that spans 15 different countries, many of the states around our country, and we put on 6 or 7 performances or concert cycles per year. And I'm here because one of those is next week.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting. And before we talk about it, I've actually heard that you've got like quite a distinguished career. There's like some talk that like you've had a recording you conducted win a Grammy.
So before arriving in Hattiesburg, and this is actually my second year at USM, my second season with the USM Symphony. I taught at a university up in Clarksville, Tennessee, Austin Peay State University, and there I was also the music director of a professional chamber orchestra called the Gateway Chamber Orchestra. And the Grammy thing can be a little hard to define, but I'll take a stab at it here. As a classical organization, and I think the timing of this is perfect with the Grammys just this past weekend. Right. These are some of the acts that don't get mentioned during prime time, but they're taken care of in earlier in the days, and it's just an amazing atmosphere and environment where all of these different musical genres are being celebrated. So anyway, within the world of classical music, there are categories for orchestral performance and choral performance, but there's also categories that are based around production, and one of those categories has to do with the Classical Producer of the Year. And a good friend of mine, who's become a good friend, we've released 3 different recordings together. His name is Blanton Allspaw. Was initially nominated for a Grammy for Classical Producer of the Year back in 2010. And one of the recordings that he used to support that nomination was a recording I conducted with the Gateway Chamber Orchestra called Wind Serenades. And then 2 years later, our sequel to that called Chamber Symphonies, Blanton was again nominated and actually this time won the Grammy for Classical Producer of the Year. So the producer won the Grammy. The recording was part of that submission. There's a Grammy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I, if I were in your shoes, I would definitely say like I was a part.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
correct. I wish I had the statue at home.
Yeah.
Not yet, but we're working on that.
Soon.
That's correct.
Soon.
Yeah.
As a fairly recent Hattiesburger, what are some of your favorite activities to do here?
Sure. First of all, I just love the term Hattiesburger, and I can remember when I first visited for the interview here, being picked up at the airport by two of my now colleagues, and they were talking about, we need to make sure we go check out some of the really great restaurants if you're going to become a Hattiesburger. Yeah. And I thought, perfect. And I was introduced to an amazing restaurant scene. My wife and I are both foodies. It was great to hear one of the announcements just before dealing with the restaurant scene. So yeah, checking out what's available locally has been wonderful. This community is so special in the way that it celebrates here. We love being able to take in such a wide variety of artistic events that go on, whether it's during the regular year, the school year, or also during Festival South. It's certainly been an amazing experience to travel and get to New Orleans for the first time. We've now been several times since moving here. So travel is an important part of what we do, and just exploring our new community. It still feels very new after 2 years.
But it's so, I know for me personally, when I moved to Hattiesburg to pursue USM, and like it was just so much more than I expected. Like I didn't know that Hattiesburg like had its own zoo. I didn't know about like all like the fun things that you can do, and it's just so. It's so nice here.
But it's difficult to describe. You just tell people, well, you just have to visit. I mean, how would you tell somebody what Lucky Rabbit is?
Oh, right.
You just have to go see it.
You just have to go. Yeah, absolutely. So going more towards the program, what is the William T. Gower, am I saying that right, Gower?
Gower.
Gower, thank you. Competition, and how does that play into the program?
Yeah, so the William T. Gower competition goes on every year during the fall semester, and it's an opportunity for all of the students within the School of Music to audition to become what we call concerto winners. Concerto, fancy Italian word, meaning that a soloist gets to perform with the orchestra. Yeah. And the way that this has historically worked here at Southern Miss is unique, and it's special in the way that last year the competition was open to anyone that played a string instrument or singers or pianists. This year, the competition was open to woodwinds, brass, and percussion players. Wow. And so we had close to 30 people that auditioned. We bring in a panel of judges who are important teachers, symphony musicians, top performers from around the Southeast that come in and watch, 5 hours of these great performers competing. Yeah. And then they sit around for another hour and decide what were the three best. And I think this year, like last year, they had a really difficult time narrowing it down. They've chosen three very interesting performers, also very interesting works that they're going to perform. The first of which, at the beginning of the program, is the most traditional of the pieces that we're going to present. Yeah. It's by a composer named Felix Mendelssohn, and the concerto winners are both clarinet players. It's actually a double concerto, which means two performers. Yeah. Brad Pilcher, a doctoral student, and Matt Barron, a master student, both in clarinet, are going to perform that piece with the orchestra. I'm going to be conducting that piece. Immediately after that, a talented undergraduate saxophone player named Preston Davis is going to be performing an amazing Japanese work called Cyberbird Concerto for saxophone with important parts for piano and percussion, as well as a very large and very colorful orchestra. That piece brings together classical music with influences from jazz and other popular cultures, which is pretty cool. And the third of the Gower winners for this year is Juan Pedro Carvajal, who's actually from Costa Rica. He's an oboe player, and he's going to be playing a work by a Spanish composer who's actually pretty popular within Europe for his movie soundtracks. His name is Oscar Navarro, and he wrote a piece for oboe with orchestra. Oboe is one of those double reed instruments we don't get to see enough of out in the public schools, but very important part of the orchestra. Yeah. And the piece is called Legacy Concerto, and it sort of looks at 250 years of writing music for the oboe, and all condensed into about 15 minutes of music. I will also mention that I said I'm going to be conducting the first piece. Two of my graduate conducting students, Eric Diaz, is going to be conducting the second. He's going to be conducting the Legacy Concerto, and then Cyberbird is going to be conducted by a doctoral conducting student named Carlos Teo.
Wow.
Yeah, they're from Peru and Colombia, respectively.
That's fascinating. That's absolutely fantastic. It's so great having USM students or having people outside of Hattiesburg coming in to provide not only like their talent, but also like their own like stories that come through music.
That's correct.
And it's so amazing.
It's a wonderful part of this entire campus community.
Yeah.
It's particularly noticeable within the orchestra. As I mentioned, I think 15 different countries are represented within the orchestra, and they just bring such an amazing, varied perspective on the world.
Absolutely. So I've heard that the event program shows Beethoven's Symphony No. 7 in A major. What is the standout moment or moments in the symphony?
Sure. Actually, before I get to Beethoven, I'm going to just sort of back up for a minute.
Yeah.
We are in the midst of maybe the most interesting season of concerts that a university orchestra has presented. It's called American Perspectives, and we have been listening to a variety of different American perspectives. We started the year with two very different works, very in-your-face, loud, showy opener by a composer named John Adams called Short Ride in a Fast Machine. And then that was followed up by a very tragic, short, quieter work by an African-American composer named George Walker, very important composer who was the first winner of the Pulitzer Prize in music as an African-American. And then in November, we actually featured for the first time by a collegiate orchestra, American jazz pianist Aaron Deal joined us from New York City and played Mary Lou Williams' Zodiac Suite. We're going to continue in March with the first collegiate performance of Julia Wolf's Her Story, which is a tribute to the ratification of the 19th Amendment. And then we're going to finish the year with our most sort of Americana concert in May, featuring music by Randall Thompson with our chorus, and Aaron Copland, his famous Fanfare for the Common Man, is heard within his Third Symphony. All that to say, American Perspectives are not found on this concert because we never know who the winners of the Gower competition are going to be. But we're going to be featuring our students, many of whom are from the U.S., and we have Beethoven's Seventh Symphony as the work that's going to bring us all back together. Beethoven, such an important composer. His 9 symphonies, I like to joke that symphony went from having a lowercase s to a capital S specifically because of Beethoven. And this symphony is one of his, I would say, 3 most famous. His 5th, very important. The 9th, which has the famous Ode to Joy in it, and then the 7th, although all 9 of them are great. The 4 movements and symphonies have this annoying way of like, is it time to clap yet or not? So we try to trick you on 3 times by making it sound like it's over, but there's 4 separate endings to this piece. We wait for the last one. All 4 of these movements are really inspired by dance, and some of them are joyful, some of them are heroic. The second movement is probably the most famous section of this symphony. It's been used for famous funerals. It's a very dark dance, but it's still quite beautiful. And we've already played the first movement of it for our visiting guests that we had this past week. It was received incredibly well, but the orchestra is sounding fantastic, and we can't wait to present this to Hattiesburg on February 10th.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be so exciting. And I understand that this is going to be like a ticketed event.
That's correct.
So how can someone get a ticket for the performance?
Information about the entire season for the USM Symphony can always be found at usm.edu/symphony. And there's also links to ticketing there. In addition, tickets are available through the University Ticketing Center over on 4th. And the phone number there is 601-266-5418. Their direct website is southernmisstickets.com. The concert is on February 10th at 7:30. Doors open at 7 p.m. and tickets, remaining tickets will still be available at the door. That's in the Mennoni Performing Arts. Sorry, it is not in the Mennoni Performing Arts Center. We are very excited because we are finally, after a year and a half not being in our home at Bennett Auditorium, returning to Bennett Auditorium. The beautiful historic building has never looked better. All the plaster on the inside has been repaired, cleaned, repainted. The windows were completely rebuilt, and many people wouldn't even know that there were windows to that building because they were covered by curtains. The replacement curtains will be back in over the summer, but for right now, we have the beautiful look out over the campus, and by the evening, when there's light and no sun to deal with, it should be a beautiful experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that we haven't covered with this event that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I touched a little bit on this season, and I talked with you a little bit off the air beforehand. The Southern Miss Symphony, for all intents and purposes, this is our region's symphony orchestra. And part of the reason for that is we have these unbelievably talented musicians who join us, as I mentioned, from 15 different countries. They're pursuing undergraduate degrees, but also master's degrees, and even a doctoral degree. The regional professional orchestras that surround us, whether it's Meridian, Gulf Coast, over in Pensacola, the Mississippi Symphony in Jackson, many of our students perform with those orchestras. We finish our rehearsals on Friday earlier in the afternoon than we do the rest of the week so that our students can get to those places. But one of the things that's so special about this, with the university orchestra as opposed to a professional orchestra, we have our rehearsals spread out over the span of 3 or 4 weeks. In this case, just over 2 weeks. We have a chance to dig a little bit deeper and present a finished product that in many ways is as good as, if not better than, you might find with a professional orchestra. And the energy and the enthusiasm that comes through with these students, I think, is palpable and exciting. It makes me wake up every morning excited to go to work. And I'm looking forward to sharing that again this coming Tuesday.
Awesome. So I know that we're running out of time, but there's always a question that we like to ask here at WSM 88.5 Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. If you were to give a younger you some advice about the things that you've learned now, or if you were to give an aspiring musician some advice, what would you tell them?
Take your time.
I love that.
Don't make too many decisions too quickly. Open as many doors as you can. Keep them open as long as you can. When it's time to go through it, it'll become clear.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gregory Wolynec, for coming on today and providing a voice for our Eagles.
Thank you so much, Skylar. It's been a pleasure.
Coming up, we've got Kaylin Fox-Thomas reporting on an ICE protest. Check it out.
As tensions rise and ICE agents become more prominent throughout the country, protesters gathered in front of Hattiesburg City Hall this past Friday to stand in solidarity and protest against ICE and the current administration's immigration policies. USM graduate student Hannah Grubbs shares why it was important for her to show up to protest.
So I grew up believing that it's important to love your neighbors, to love everybody and treat them the same, and this administration is not doing that. And so it's important for me to show up and let people know that they're wanted here and that there are those of us here in the South that will stand up and fight for them.
According to The Guardian, in 2025, 32 people died in ICE custody. Co-organizers Sophia Williams and Davey of the Hattiesburg Alternative Zine shares why organizing this protest was important for them and their organizations.
Being here for me means demanding the America that was promised to us.
We're out here in response just to the recent events. You know, the lack of accountability for law enforcement has been going on. There's these moments where people see what's going on, and we come out here to get together with people who are starting to wake up to the violence that this country perpetrates upon, people internationally and in their own community.
Many USM students, veterans, and even civil rights activists attended this protest. Protests are still happening around the country as more states make laws in support of or against ICE. Kaylin Fox-Thomas, SMTV News.
Thanks for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Huge thanks to Liam Keenan, our audio engineer, and Isabella Michaud, our video engineer, for keeping this bird flying. Big shout out to our assistant producer, Rosinez Monty, and our program director, Adeline Fields, and our GM, Dr. Wilbur Martin. Don't forget to follow SM2 Media on social media. I'm your Tuesday Thursday show host, Skylar Angus Barker. Stay Golden Eagles.